Hey guys, it is now, what is it? It's 20:38. I didn't shoot this entire day as I've told you yesterday because of this holiday. And now let's check if you guys have been asking me questions on YouTube and Snapchat and do the next Q&A. But before that, I need to get something to eat. Vanessa's already cooking something really... What do you cook?
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms? Mm-hmm. Special mushrooms or normal mushrooms?
Normal mushrooms.
Okay. While Vanessa's cooking, let's do the first question. First question is by Nameless Creator. He is asking when I did to decide to start going full-time into music production. And I actually didn't really decide it, but it was kind of, I think, 4 or 5 years ago. When did we get to know each other? 4 or 5 years ago?
Almost 6 years ago.
6 years ago. Okay, so it was 6 years ago. That was the time around where I was still in university when we met. And right after that I stopped going there because I felt like making music is what I really want to do in life. So I just quit the university and did what I wanted to do. It was quite tough, but if you really do what you love, you will find your way. Let's do the next question somewhere where it is not smelling that much from these mushrooms. Really don't like them. No internet. Hate it when the internet fails, but restarting the router usually helps. Now it's working. Questions. The next one is by Alex. He is basically asking how to get your first track signed. I think I already made a video that kind of explains it. I will link it down below, but basically it really depends on the music that you're making, but most of the labels you can just send them your demos to an email and you really have to wait and be lucky that they pick your track. It is way easier to do it over connections. Just get in contact with the right people or ask friends or other people you know that are in the music business to help you out. He also asked what program I'm using to edit the videos. I used to use iMovie for all of the weekly vlogs, so I think I made right around 40 of them. And now all of the daily vlogs are made with Final Cut Pro. Fabius is asking what is important for headphones for DJing and producing. For DJing, really just pick a headphone that is lightweight and has a good low end so that you can hear the kick and beat match. And for producing, it really depends. So if you're looking for a studio headphone, pick something that is really nice. For example, my DT770 Pro from Biodynamics. They're really good studio headphones, but they're not made for mixing. So there's really a difference between studio headphones. They're usually for singers, songwriters, guitar players to have on their ears while they record. And if you need some for mixing, you have to get special ones that are made for mixing. And they're quite expensive, usually at least 300 euros. Burping Cat, really cool name. He asks how he can find vocals and lyrics. So if you're just a producer and you can't sing and you're not really good in writing, you have to find a singer and songwriter. I've also made a video about that already, so I will link it down below. But really it's almost the same as for getting labels. You need to get in contact with the people, go out, hang out with them, ask your friends. You can also try to find singer and songwriters on SoundCloud. A lot of them that are on the same level as you might be really happy to work with someone together. Because you really need someone that sings and you need someone that is producing it. So just team up with somebody. The next question is also by Burping Cat. He's asking me if I believe in aliens. Yes, in some form, yes, but probably not in the form that Hollywood is thinking about it. I'm actually really into astrophysics, and with a universe that is so endless, there's probably some form of life out there, I think, but not in the form that we can even imagine. What do you think about EDM? This one is a bit tricky, because when I started out making music, I was very into progressive house music that eventually became kind of EDM. But some of the stuff that is around right now and that is played on those big festivals is really not my type of music. It is a bit too hectic for me. It doesn't really have a lot of musical components to it. It's usually basically just a kick and a main synth that is making a lot of noise, and that's really nothing for me. Vanessa's calling me. Dinner is ready. You did a good job. And of course a lot of my favorite cheese. You also want some?
No, no.
I can have more. A short dinner break and then I will continue with the Q&A. Absolutely nothing on my shirt top. My computer won't turn on. Let's just do it with the phone. Next question is by Diego Escobar. He's asking me what's my favorite DJ. I actually would have to say someone that is here from Düsseldorf that probably nobody of you knows. He's doing like a very unique style that nobody else is doing. What's your favorite producer? I would probably say Maceo Plex. He's doing more underground music, but I always like the groove he's having in his tracks. It is always working, no matter if he's doing more like new dance stuff that is funky or if he's doing like really deep techno tracks. My favorite song right now, wow, there's so much. I would say my favorite song at the moment is from a remix from Joris Vorn for Florian Kruse, which is a friend of mine from Berlin. It's called The Ground, I think. Yep, it's called The Ground. I've used it in my new mixtape that was, by the way, released today, so I will put the link down below to my SoundCloud page where you can listen to the mix. There are probably all of my favorite tracks at the moment that are more in a club style, and this one in particular is really good from a production point of view. It has probably the fattest piano I've ever heard, the nicest bass. It is full of details. Just the intro is alone like 20 elements that go very well together. So from a production point of view, a really good track that you should check out. And whenever you finish a track, just compare it to this one and you will still find plenty of things you can do to your track. Why don't you have more subscribers? I actually don't really know. Maybe you can tell me. But it's constantly growing and there are a lot of new people on the channel, so I'm happy as it is. Who's my inspiration? Wow, inspiration. That's a tough one. I'm pretty sure he means like musically, but I can't really answer it. I would probably say my parents, because they're also both doing art and they have to fight a lot. And they're doing this self-employed for a long time, and since I'm a little kid I grew up with it and learned a lot. And this actually leads to his next question, what my parents think about what I'm doing. And because they're both artists, for example, this picture here is my dad's, this big wave here as well, and this smaller one is for my mom. So they're both doing something creative. They can't really complain about me making music because I'm also just following my dream as they did. And since I'm little, I just know how it is to do what you actually love. So I learned that kind of from my parents. And every time in life I tried to do something normal, I really felt miserable. So doing right now what I actually want to do is probably the best feeling ever. This probably doesn't really answer the question what they think. I would say they would love to see that I do something normal because they know how hard it is to be an artist. But of course they can fully understand what I'm doing. If I would give support to a producer if he's asking for it, yes, of course. I mean, that's why I'm doing the track submits where you guys send me tracks and I give you feedback. He also asked me who killed John F. Kennedy. I don't know, but I would say probably Trump was the one. Now let's see if there are any left. I have to check on my laptop. That's really annoying with the phone. Okay, let's continue. I think there are a couple more questions. I need a little bit of light. The next one is from Royal Dirty. He's asking about the stereo spread with the S1 imager. In my last video I showed you how I spread the things with it, and I turned the S1 all the way up because the clap was in mono, and turning it all the way up still didn't put it in antiphase. But sometimes you have elements that already have a bit of stereo information, and if you turn it then all the way up it will go into antiphase. So definitely check it with a correlation meter, or check it by putting your track in mono and listen to it. That's the only way you will know. Some signals need more on the S1, some need less. There are even some where you have to use 2 instances of S1 to get it really wide. He's asking me to show the levels on some of the elements of my tracks, and this doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, because if my kick is 5 dBs lower, everything else will be a bit lower. It's not really about how loud these things are, it's more about how loud they are compared to other things. That's what mixing is for, and it is for every track different. So even if I would show it to you in one track, it would be completely different in the next track. The next one is from Shivam. He's asking me what I mean with phasing and anti-phasing. And that's quite complicated to explain, but I will try to draw it. Despite both of my parents being artists, I'm really bad in drawing, but it should work somehow. So everything we hear is basically a sine wave in some form, and if one speaker is outputting this sine wave and the other one is outputting exactly the same, they are perceived as mono, being in the middle and the same. If you have 2 speakers and one of them gets shifted, they kind of cancel out each other. Every time one of the sounds is in a low point, the other one is in a high point. If you output this again in mono, it's almost completely gone. My friend Dumisa is asking me if he can send me some instrumentals for me to sing, but that's definitely a no. I tried once to sing on one of my tracks, I recorded it, I listened to it, I deleted it and never listened to it again. It was just horrible. Diego has also another question that I didn't answer yet. He's asking me about my favorite piano plugin. It's definitely the Grandeur from Native Instruments. And he's also asking me about my guitar sounds. He knows that they are played from real guitars, but he's asking me about the best and most realistic guitar plugin. I will show it to you really quick. The best alternative is definitely going to the contact library of Native Instrument onto database. Choose here the guitar sounds and either pick a e-guitar or an acoustic guitar. You can basically play quite real sounding guitar chords. And there are a bunch of settings for the patterns and also the reverb and all that kind of stuff. It's really nice. Okay guys, I think that's it for today's video. Thanks a lot for all of your questions. This really saved today's vlog, and that's really something I love about YouTube. It's not only me making these videos, it's also you contributing to them. So really thanks a lot, it really means a lot to me. There is just one more question left that a couple of you guys had, and that is how old I am. I'm 28 years old, but only 4 more minutes.